Weah, President of Liberia. Our board noted that His Excellency's victory as the African Political Leader of the Year 2023 is a testament to his contributions to promoting peace, African culture and development, youth and sports development, and advancing Africa's agenda globally. It is also a recognition of his critical role in the infrastructural and socio-economic development of his country as well as his people-friendly policies. He has continued to advocate for peace and free and fair elections in the ECOWAS sub-region, and this was demonstrated by a show of statesmanship and iconic posturing by accepting electoral loss and congratulating the winner. While he arguably had options as a sitting president, he chose the path of honor, peace, and the defense of democracy. His emergence reaffirms our position that he has remained one of the continent's leading light, as he had continued to demonstrate great faith in the African project, promoting African dignity and helping to change the negative narratives about the continent.
Before we could become journalists today, we are citizens. If there is no way that our country is safe, we cannot practice in our respective professions. When we are at war, pastors will not be respected to go to church to preach. When we are at war, medical doctors will not be able to go to hospitals except on a coercion or sanitary condition. When we are at war, lawyers will not be able to go to court to practice. That's why when you see these things happening, whether you are a lawyer, whether you are working a profession, you got to step down and protect your country so that that country will provide an avenue for you to be the kind of person that you want to be. And that's where we are now. What happened yesterday was wrong. It's still wrong. And no matter what it is wrong. We are seeing things happening in this country, and people are now seeing it as being right because the Asa is there. And these are things that we got to be stand up. To be a patriot, you have to stand first on the side of the law, because the politicians will go away. The regime will pass away, but your country will stay. The law will stay. Your patriotism vow will continue to stay on. And these are things that we got to stand up for. It doesn't matter how people feel, what kind of side you want to be on. We just got to speak to the truth, and that is very much important.
I see in the next few months a nicer country, a very noisy country, rowdy country, a heavily divided country, a very tough economy, a sense of elitism by those who are coming at the hem of authority. The coming in of the Unity Party is going to multiply the economic woes, the economic conundrum, the economic quagmire, the suffering of the Liberian people is going to multiply. We are not prophets of doom, but the reality will come.
Mr. President, recently we witnessed the demolition of the CDC headquarters in Komotyan, which was carried out through a court order. How does the administration ensure that such enforcement action are done fairly and without political interference?
The law is the law. It's not the government. It's the government implementation of the law. The police were ordered to do it, and they did it. Is that demolition is removal of the people from premises that don't belong to them according to the law.
Why will George Weah, who is tempted by Joseph Boakai, who was drowning in his Egypt land, who was dead, very red up, dirty, stink, you could find him passing around, practically dead and useless. Why will such a man conduct make you Weah vex that you will struck the work and then lose God's own mission to take you to the promised land? That was the test of time today for George Weah. If George Weah had reacted, he would have fallen in the place of Moses.
The Liberian National Police commends the Congress for Democratic Change for the discipline, calm, and statesmanship demonstrated during the recent eviction process. Your respect for the rule of law, despite the deep sentimental value and history attached to the property, reflects a maturity that strengthens Liberia's democracy. This movement is not only a testament to CDC's leadership, but also a reminder to all political institutions and citizens that our democracy grows stronger when lawful decisions are honored peacefully.
Today, you have a rebel police director who thinks that he has arrived. And the worst thing about all these people They all benefited from the magnanimity of George Weah, ranging from people on the bench of the Supreme Court. They got letters from George Weah. If some of them choose to pay him back with evil, it's up to them. The very Gregory Comer today, he worked in the previous administration when Weah came. He also got another letter again. If he chooses to do what he's doing, it's up to him. But one thing I can tell you for sure is this is how we had always been molded. That's how God has already molded Weah and catapult him into success. He will suffer rejection, denigration, humiliation. That has been his life. How can you make somebody who has been down the line their shame? The person has gone through shame. They have gone through disgrace. They have done everything they cared. Whatever people thought and were laughing at them, they surmount everything and catapult themselves into becoming someone who is towering that the whole world can look at today. What more can you do? You think you're bringing that person down? You're just hurting yourself. In fact, what you are doing, you are destroying yourself. You know what it takes for you to pride in yourself of being bad? When people are looking for good image, you are happy in becoming a bad person. George Weah would never, ever buy in to your tricks. George Weah would never, ever buy in to your tricks. George Weah would never, ever buy in to your tricks. George Weah would never, ever buy in to your tricks. George Weah would never, ever buy in to your tricks. George Weah would never, ever buy in to your tricks. George Weah would never, ever buy in to your tricks. He would never, ever.
There's nothing this president cannot do to make sure that George Weah is out of the way so the United Party can continue to maintain the presidency. There's nothing this president cannot do to make sure that George Weah is out of the way so the United Party can continue to maintain the presidency. There's nothing this president cannot do to make sure that George Weah is out of the way so the United Party can continue to maintain the presidency. There's nothing this president cannot do to make sure that George Weah is out of the way so the United Party can continue to maintain the presidency. There's nothing this president cannot do to make sure that George Weah is out of the way so the United Party can continue to maintain the presidency. But I can tell you, this is a bad example.
George Weah would never, ever buy in to your tricks. He would never, ever.
There's nothing this president cannot do to make sure that George Weah is out of the way so the United Party can continue to maintain the presidency. But I can tell you, this is a bad example.
George Weah would never, ever buy in to your tricks. He would never, ever.
There's nothing this president cannot do to make sure that George Weah is out of the way so the United Party can continue to maintain the presidency. But I can tell you, this is a bad example.
George Weah would never, ever buy in to your tricks. He would never, ever.
There's nothing this president cannot do to make sure that George Weah is out of the way so the United Party can continue to maintain the presidency. But I can tell you, this is a bad example.
You see that? You see that? Yeah, shooting. You see that? You see that? You see what that's what I do? You see what I do? You see what I do? You see what this let's get it doing? That's shooting part. Come on. Before we could become journalists today, we are citizens. If there is no way that our country is safe, we cannot practice in our respective professions. When we are at war, pastors will not be respected to go to church to preach. When we are at war, medical doctors will not be able to go to hospitals except on a coercion or sanitary condition. When we are at war, lawyers will not be able to go to court to practice. That's why when you see these things happening, whether you are a lawyer, whether you are working a profession, you got to step down and protect your country so that that country will provide an avenue for you to be the kind of person that you want to be. And that's where we are now. What happened on yesterday was wrong. It's still wrong. And no matter what it is wrong. We are seeing things happening in this country, and people are now seeing it as being right because their SAR is there. And these are things that we got to be stand up. To be a patriot, you have to stand first on the side of the law, because the politicians will go away. The regime will pass away, but your country will stay. The law will stay. Your patriotism vow will continue to stay on. And these are things that we got to stand up for. It doesn't matter how people feel, what kind of side you want to be on. We just got to speak to the truth, and that is very much important.
His Excellency, George Weah, President of Liberia. Our board noted that His Excellency's victory as the African Political Leader of the Year 2023 is a testament to his contributions to promoting peace, African culture and development, youth and sports development, and advancing Africa's agenda globally. It is also a recognition of his critical role in the infrastructural and socio-economic development of his country, as well as his people-friendly policies. He has continued to advocate for peace and free and fair elections in the ECOWAS sub-region, and this was demonstrated by a show of statesmanship and iconic posturing by accepting electoral loss and congratulating the winner. While he arguably had options as a sitting president, he chose the path of honor, peace, and the defense of democracy. His emergence reaffirms our position that he has remained one of the continent's leading light, as he had continued to demonstrate great faith in the African project, promoting African dignity and helping to change the negative narratives about the continent.
Good afternoon, people. Thank you so very kindly that you join us. Real Talk Kings 88.5 on this 7th day of May 2026, the reign of Nebuchadnezzar. We are transmitting from Baptist Seminary Community, ABC, Painesville. Great day it is. Good day, sunny day. Thank you that you join us. We've got the issues on our plate. Yes, the government is sinking gradually, yet they try to portray it like they are making progress, but in reality, they aren't. It's another day. I'm Sam Andrews. As always, Sam Andrews. God Almighty, the creator and sustainer of the universe, the God who keeps watch over each and every person, the God who sees the good leaders, and the good leaders, the God who sees the rulers, the Nebuchadnezzars. He is that God who kept watch over each and every one of us and has led us into this day. The God who keeps watch over Kings 88.5 and individual members constituting the team. We are grateful to him. And thank you all for coming on too. We appreciate all of you. Let's bring on some of you because you are coming in your hundreds. Jack Foley Tombikai, Bible College, Junction, Broville, Dubon Hill, USA, Emmanuel Venian, Johnsonville, City View, Ibrahim Kreman, Iron Factory, your residence, Nathan Page, Cox City, yes, Clarence Dwyer, 14th Street Sinker, William Sumawulo, New York, Staten Island, USA. Thank you in advance, William K. Sumawulo. Hope that you are faring well there in the United States. Jeremiah Labla, Soul Clinic, Silver, Washington, Broadway City, Venetia's Bar, New Crew Town, Claude de Port, Saturday Woodaway, Atlanta, Georgia, USA, Samuel Lamore, Emmanuel Bro, Minnesota, USA, Bapin Paul Lee, Johnsonville, Ruben Cannon, Gatnersville, your residence, Malu Fofana, 20th Street Sinker, Stephen Yakadi, District 2, Lower Magibi County, Boyman Kiadi, Hotel Africa, Virginian, David Williams, Colorado, USA, James Wanakor, Masari Abdullah, JJY Community, Ambassador Walter Bachu Morgan Jr., CDC Regular Intellectual Militant, Beckett's Gray, ELWA Junction, William Hoff, Minnesota, USA, Rita Christine Haight, the birthday woman. Today is your birthday. Thank God Almighty God for you that you are celebrating alive your birthday. What a day, what a memorial. Make the most of it. Thank you ever so much for always being with us. Kings 88.5. One of our regular listeners and viewers, you there in Massachusetts, USA, celebrate, as they say, in grand style. Rita Christine Haight, Ibrahim Kuma, yes, I am doing good, as evident by how I sound, how I am sounding. Hope that you are great also. All of you great people. My dear sister, Orita Sunday Way Choir, hi there. Hope that you are faring well. I know that you are good. Yes, you are good. Thank you. Good. Very great woman. Good woman indeed. Kind-hearted. The chairman himself, Roman Rico, Kenneth Ball, Latupan, chairman, Block Titan Intellectual Center, the Melting Pot chairman, the one and only chairman, the chairman for life. Yeah, great chairman indeed. Good to have you on, Mr. Chairman. All of you great people. Let's have a wonderful info time on the day of the birthday woman, Rita Christine Hayes. Today is your birthday. Kings 88.5 appreciates you. She never misses out on all of the shows. She's on Let's Talk About It with Israel, Real Talk, Face the Issues with Teacher Light. Very consistent, very regular. Thank you. So we don't have anything to give you, but we can appreciate you and bless God that He has given you such a memorial to celebrate Rita Christine Hayes. Let's get to the issues we've got on our plate for today. Again, you all know that Mr. President, the parable-in-chief president, the only president on the African continent that speaks with our parable, he has come to be known as parable-in-chief president, and not parable for people to gain, because every parable has a philosophy. That means an idea that will help you charter a new course. That's what parable is all about. If you follow those people in the days of old, and even most of them now, or you go back into the days of Jesus, their parables were centered on helping the person chartered a new course. One, two, to give an understanding of the unknown future so that you know how to navigate. Unlike Mr. President, his parables are divisive, destructive, discriminatory, and on and on. So he's not really a person worth listening to. Do you know that Mr. President is even embarrassed? He wants to leave parables, but given the saying he has created, he's ashamed to leave it. What kind of man on earth will speak? Every time he speaks, he must go into parable. Every time it tells you how archaic he is. He's far from modernism, but that is just a teaser, isn't on our plate. Our first pointer is for the third time running. When we're talking about it, Unity Party people say we are opposition. And what is wrong with being opposition? Everybody cannot be on the same side. Everybody cannot have the same idea. Everybody cannot chart out the same course in life. Relatively, we are different. We see things from different perspectives. Hence, it becomes normal mentally to respect people for their preference, their political views, their religious views, their economic views, whatever. It is only in this country that when you are on the side or when you are in the opposition, they think that you do not worth existing. And if you ever existed, whatever you said, no one should take you serious. But we are all citizens of this country. We are all stakeholders. We aren't foreigners. We are citizens. And so everything that is unfolding in this country, we have the right to have our say. We observe the government as we have observed government in the past. Not that governments of the past were 100% perfect. They had their lapses, but they did not brag coming to power of doing the absolute. When President Sirleaf or Ellen Johnson Sirleaf assumed the presidency, in her inaugural address, she said, told the people of this country, I cannot promise you a quick fix. What she meant was, your expectation should not be as high as to have things happening in a twinkling of an eye. Former President George Weah comes to power. He tells the people the same thing, that he cannot promise them a quick fix development, but there is the assurance that things will happen and that they will see the difference in their lives. The rescue government comes to power, trying not to leave room for people to understand. The reason when you are giving public address, people use that so that the expectation of the people is not too high. They aren't absolute. They aren't 100% definitive. They know that they will have limitations. They know that there are political or leadership imperfections. They know all of those things. So they wouldn't say, we will do this, we will do that, we'll do that. Rescue government came and presented itself as having all of the knowledge. They condemned the previous government to the core. One of the things they really hung on and ran with it for months, yet rule of law. They said it was under the Weah government, there was a total breakdown of the rule of law in the country. Lawlessness and chaos were the order of the day in the Weah government. You know, then I think I know, but I know much because I follow those regimes. It was one of their campaign messages. And people who saw some makeshifts, and not to say that the CDC government was perfect, no, they had their own perfections. Conditions work against them. Some of those conditions, they created it, but it doesn't say that they were not on top of their game in several areas. They were. Because Unity Party saw strides, significant gains in several areas, and because they were in opposition, and the role of opposition, as per their understanding, not to look at the positives, but the negatives, they hung on or they manufactured, they exaggerated and over-exaggerated. Total breakdown of the rule of law in Liberia. The country is in chaos. There's no freedom of speech, no freedom of assembly, and on and on. They went as far as even portraying it even stronger by bullying vast portion of the international community, including the United States of America, which bought in some of those things that they portray. They even left here and went to the United States and made sure that investments should not come to Liberia, should not have come to Liberia, because there was no rule of law in place. There was total chaos, and on and on. We know that for a fact because we follow the CDC government and Unity Party in opposition. So during the campaign, they were all over the place using the rule of law as one of their campaign messages to get the votes in their favor. They won in that area. The people listened to them. They used drugs. The people listened to them. They came with several political weapons. Ironically, the government that lambasted the Congress of Democratic Change government of not having a unique system in place of the rule of law, there was total breakdown, there was total chaos, and on and on. Here they are today. For the third time, the people they reported, the CDC government told, saying there was no rule of law in the country. President Weah was not in control of the country. The country was chaotic under the CDC government. The police were doing their own thing. In fact, the police director, Patrick Sudu, was a partisan police, and on and on. Here we are today. The very United States government, they reported, the CDC government told. The United States government is now saying in return for the third time running, they have not made any significant impact, no difference whatsoever in the rule of law. The United States government, in its report, the latest MCC scorecard, they said that the government of President Joseph Yuma Boakai has no idea whatsoever to stabilize the country from a rule of law perspective. Everything is helter-skelter. Individually, everybody doing their own thing. The police in its predatory nature. When we were talking it around here, they say, oh, you people are opposition. And let me say again, the country under Joseph Yuma Boakai is not stable. The country under Joseph Yuma Boakai is not secure. When you are preventing people from expressing their opinion, you are stifling free speech. You are preventing people from exercising their constitutional right to present their concerns or petition to their leaders as required by the country's constitution. And you think that because you have prevented people from protesting, from assembling, so the country is stable, the country is peaceful, the country isn't. We went further to tell these people who claim to be educated, these are prime indicators that the international community looks at and analyze and then make a decision. They have come to tell Joseph Yema Boakai that you have been vindictive. There is complete breakdown of the rule of law. Everybody doing their own thing. No system in place. There is fear all over the place. The latest MCC scorecard for the third time running, the government of Unity Party, the government of Joseph Yema Boakai cannot pass the rule of law. What the American government had said recently or re-emphasizing is that the government of Joseph Yema Boakai has kept the country in a backward trend. These are, they are the indicators. Let's run through them and then we'll move on. It is a shame. It is a disgrace. If you are a supporter of Unity Party, the last thing you ever want to do to sound as human being is to talk about the rule of law. The people they're telling you that Joseph Yema Boakai is a dictator. The rule of law is sine qua non to development. You can pave this country into heaven. Once the rule of law is in tatters, the rule of law is broken down, there is no law and order, your development is insignificant. So it's all but makes sense that Joseph Yema Boakai and his people need to shut up bragging about this thing called rule of law, fix it real good so that they will have probably the recognition or they will pass. Not me. That's the United States government, not King's FM portraying it, but the United States government is saying for the third time, the government of President Boakai has not made any improvement in the rule of law. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. Let's go. Not me, not King's FM, but the very MCC. Here we are. The first, they said Liberia failed in 10. Before then, let's get to the one that passed in so that you, Unity Party people, at least can have something to smile if it was smiling on. They said they made pass. They pass in inflation, meaning to keep it under control, it's stable. International market assets, property and land rights, regulatory quality, women in the economy, market competitiveness, health expenditure, chronic disease, personal freedom, government accountability, control of corruption, freedom of information. Those are the 12. The United States government said the government of Joseph Yema Boakai passed in. And then they came to the sorrowful part, pitiful. The first of 10, the government of President Boakai failed in the rule of law. They did not put the rule of law in the middle. They did not put it at the bottom. They put it first. What that means is this is very significant. The international community, the United States government and the international community take this aspect very, very serious. And any government around the world, which we have seen, that is trampling, discarding the rule of law, you don't get the recognition that you think you want. Liberia or this government finds itself in a tricky situation with that MCC compact. The rule of law, not the only, but very significant to getting the United States government dime. The rule of law. They say Phil, F, rule of law. Trade policy. In the business aspect, they say the government don't know to develop any idea in terms of trade and policy or developing an idea by which trade will be enhanced, investments will be attracted. The government has no idea about that. They say access to credit, the government failed in that. Employment opportunity. The United States government is saying that the government of Joseph Yuma Boakai does not know how to create opportunities by which the people can be employed. Look at all of the demographics, people. Look at the young people, look at the elderly, look at the young, look at the old, look at the number of businesses that are around, look at the various categories of businesses. What do you see? More to that, you find many people who no job whatsoever. Employment opportunity simply means that the government creates the means using creativity, using innovation, translating those into practical reality by which the people can move on based on their expertise and skill and then earn something from it. It don't have to be a formal job in an office, but anything office from an economic standpoint is anything that you do that earns you money to get your life going, to sustain yourself, that you can make projections. Nothing. But this is not a surprise because the vice president made it clear. He said the government's greatest weakness is job creation. The president went to cabinet meeting, 2 cabinet meetings. He said the government has not been able to create jobs. And he was asking his people, his ministers, that they should come up with ideas by which they can create jobs for the people, create employment opportunity. What a shame. The rescue government, that's the clever people. The American government went on to say, business start up. They know how to start business. They know how to get it off the ground. Workforce development, F. Natural resource protection, F. All of what we have here, the American government say the protection of our natural resource, everything is being plummeted or is being exploited. There is no protection mechanism in place. Those natural resources, they are sufficient, even more than sufficient, to develop this country. By setting up domestic employments, that means what you have, those natural resources, it can give you company, it can give you factories, it can give you this, it can give you that. And who's going to be employed? You're going to have domestic expertise, meaning the people of this country, their expertise is going to be used in that area. And then what happened? But what you see, you find foreigners moving with all of those things, no law in place. So they sit down somewhere and whatever they can get, 10,000 each, 50,000 each, 75,000 each in the pocket, then they go in the legislature and you think that they are protecting you. The American government is saying that there is no protection of the natural resource of the country. They are being exploited. So how can your country develop? It's not just the president announcing we're building this country, going to speak parable. If Mr. President has sense, meaning if he can reason, yesterday they said George Weah was not reasoning as an independent person. So we're saying the same thing because these are grave. These are grave categories. If Mr. President and his people get sense, they will sit down and start finding new ideas. They're telling you, you going all over the place making an announcement. We build this country. His people go to Ministry of Information, causing people here and there. They say you're wasting time. Instead of causing opposition here and there, can you put laws in place by which will protect your natural resource? These are things that countries use around the world to develop their country. They say they fill in child health. Nothing in place to protect the children, to give them the kind of life, to cater to them when they need be. Nothing. Girls' primary education completion rate low, fail. Government effectiveness. They fail in presenting the government as being effective. In essence, the United States government has said that the government is not effective. The government is just rhetorical. Everybody just sounding, giving speeches all over the place, and most of their speeches are directed at opposition. So the government is disorganized. The expression, my people, the expression government effectiveness, it means a system in place by which you see the government working. When the government is working, you know. No one needs to tell you. You know. It's just like when you're in the tribulation period. No one, you need not ask anybody whether this is the tribulation period. You will know because you will see it. When a government is effective, you need not ask anybody. You will know. Even with your limited education or no education, you will know. The American government is saying the government is disjointed, disorganized, no effectiveness. We've been talking these things over and over. The American government has not said anything new or different from what we have been saying before the TAIR report came out. No. And we told you you're going to hear graver ones coming up before the close of this year. The government thinks it is making progress. The progress is in rhetoric. They're just talking. Look what Mr. President did today. Go to a cabinet meeting, nothing much to say, but to be reacting to people. Pathetic, but it's good. I say it's pathetic for the government, but it's good. Now, listen. Know it. In opposition, there is one ultimate goal of the opposition: to feed on the negatives of the ruling establishment. Those are weapons all over the world. That's how it works. Unity Party was in opposition. They were not praising President Weah. Everything that President Weah did, all of the infrastructures he set up, the significant strides he was making, what were they saying? Say the government doing nothing. The government doing nothing. Even though they saw structures going up, they will look at that structure and say, we are government doing nothing. We are doing nothing. You know why? Not that consciously they did not know, not that they were blind, but they felt that if we continue to emit, it will be negative against us and it will be plus for this man. So let's use our destructive opposition instinct. We aren't destructive in opposition right now, but we only speak the truth. And nobody giving us the reality but the government itself. Thank God we aren't destructive. We're not telling anybody to get to the street and burn tires. We're not telling anybody to put their body here and say XYZ. All of you people know what they have done. They have confessed over the time. We are only analyzing the issues, and that's what the people need. They make the news, and we report the news. The American government said the government of President Joseph Weah Boakai is not effective. It's not effective. They failed. They failed in the category of effective government. When the United States government say they feel it's an expression for the government is disorganized. When something is not effective, it is what? It is ineffective. And ineffectiveness is what? It's disorganization. That's good. Thank you, America. They think that the United States, because they're doing these things, the United States will continue to praise them. Listen, the country is in a state of insecurity. No one has messed and still messing Joseph Yuma Boakai up. Boakai himself in consultation with his man Gregory Coleman. Look what happened today. And that will be our next pointer. The standoff in Chicken Soup Factory. Leaving a motorcycle, as we've gathered, injured, if not dead. There isn't any report with King's FM to say definitively that he died, we can say. But we do know, based on our findings, that a misunderstanding ensued and eyewitnesses confirm live bullet from a police officer. That we can say by quoting the eyewitness who said that the police allegedly shot an unarmed and unresisting motorcyclist in the Chicken Soup Factory today. Let's listen to Clifford Yimpa.
I'm Clifford Yimpa, the vice chairman for Operation Chicken Soup Community called the mayor. We were busy with the QJO company as related to our role. We're down the Gulf South Platinum Steel Road, making sure to be developed or receive the communication as related to what happened to the junction. Immediately we rushed there, and the police officer that did the shooting, his police took him away with the victim. They took the victim to Barbara N, where he taking a treatment. Thinking that was a low tension. When I reached, I saw crowd, I saw tension. You know, where our people stop hearing gunsound for a decade. So when you see somebody shooting somebody, there's a serious tension. So when I reached on the road, I saw everybody had to scatter, people running, people moving here and there, people chunking rock. So I immediately reached there to try to put the issue on a standstill. I couldn't make it because the tension was too much. So the information I got is that a motorcycle criminal was apprehended by the police. Before the police tried to apprehend the motorcycle criminal, motorcycle from other community, you know, motorcycle they're not specific. Motorcycle from other community tried to handle the guy themselves. That's where the tension broke up from between they and the police. Before then, the police got called. According to information that they said one police guy on the OPF4 or PSU4, he did a shooting to the citizen of one of the citizens of Chicken Soup Factory, shooting in the head, PF4 or PSU4. He did a shooting to the citizen of one of the citizens of Chicken Soup Factory, shooting in the head, PSU4. He did a shooting to the citizen of one of the citizens of Chicken Soup Factory, shooting in the head, PSU4. He did a shooting to the citizen of one of the citizens of Chicken Soup Factory, shooting in the head. I was here on the scene, PSU4. He did a shooting to the citizen of one of the citizens of Chicken Soup Factory, shooting in the head, PSU4. He did a shooting to the citizen of one of the citizens of Chicken Soup Factory, shooting in the head. Did a shooting to the citizen of one of the citizens of Chicken Soup Factory, shooting in the head. I was here on the scene, but when I reached out, I said that the information I got up, yes, that was the tension broke up from. The guys are at the hospital taking treatment right now. If you look, the Chicken Soup Factory, we are people of hospitality, we are peaceful people. We are against violence. In our motorcycle on a daily basis, we conscientize them to be peaceful, to focus on what they are doing to get their living. We are out of violence. We are totally against violence. We're talking to them. That remain calm. We'll get a situation. We'll go into the investigation. We'll see the result of the investigation. Yes, the victim is taking treatment. The victim is at GFK. He is taking treatment right now. I'm Clifford Yimpa, the vice chairman for Operation Chicken Soup Community.
Other versions painted a grim picture, very terrible, of the police. What you listen to was Clifford's version. The others, you can tell that the police intentionally, willfully fired. The other guy said that, look, we just tired with these police. And I'm afraid I'm not talking anything further so that they don't come after me. Given what he saw. And you expect the United States government to take their money and put it into Unity Party government because one president sits in a cabinet meeting and says we're doing well and speaks parable. Why his police from one end to another killing people? And watch it. The only thing you will hear, the officer was disrobed. That is the only thing you will hear from the police. The officer was disrobed. That disrobement will be the end of that. They confirm. If the eyewitnesses had said, we did not hear bullet sound, we did not see the officer shooting, then it would have been a bit complicated or unsuspicious. But the eyewitnesses confirmed that the police officer did remove his gun and pointed it at an unarmed, unresisting civilian. That tells you of how ruthless the police is under the Unity Party government. Why are they shooting at people at will? Because they did it in the past and nothing. Every time your child do something, the first time and you ignore it, the second time and you come in with a perfunctory defense, the third time, and then you act like nothing wrong with it, the fourth, fifth, the child will go on. By that time now, it's late to take such a predatory nature from in the child. That's what happened. Can you remember last year, what did the police director say? He gave the police the go-ahead. That if anybody do this, the police should release bullet. Now, police officers hearing that, what do you think they will do? Do you know how many civilians the police have killed since Weah came to power? And they're acting like they have not killed a single fly. They have not killed fly. They think the government is perfect. The most ruthless government in this country is the Unity Party-led government. They will come out to tell you that, oh yeah, the police are taking seize of the matter and the officer has been disrobed and all of that. So here is it. Let me share that with you. And then we'll move on to the next pointer, and that will be doing it for today. Yeah, they are good at releasing statement. The police good at releasing statement. That's their area. They said, the Liberia National Police confirms that officers assigned okay. Yeah. They say investigation ongoing. I told you. Yes. Yeah, I told you. Yeah. They say they're investigating. That's what they said. They're investigating. And that will be doing it. That investigation will prove nothing, no deterrent. Those guys are comfortable moving. You see, going in gatherings, you see police officers when they're ready, they start brandishing their weapons, showcasing police officer. The man wants everybody to know that he is a police officer. So he will put the shirt. Those of you following me on the screen, he will put the shirt behind him, and then the gun is on the side. So everybody will know that he is a police officer. He is a gun-carrying police officer. And if anybody tries anything funny, he's going to release a bullet or bullets. Is that professional policing? What they say they're investigating. So we'll wait for the outcome of that investigation. But that's what transpired today. On hours after the United States government released its latest report, the government failed in the rule of law, failed in effective governance. The police show it. I wish they could continue doing that, not to be killing people, but just to show awful behavior so that we capitalize on these things and then flush them out. The international community is getting tired with them. Let Boakai continue using parables all over the place. Parables, not leadership. Parable, not leadership. So let's move on to dates.
Sir, you are the Director of Public Relations for the Armed Forces and also the spokesperson for the Ministry of National Defense. We will talk about this border situation. First question, can we really talk about a crisis at Guinea's borders? Mr. Kamara, thank you for having me on national television. We must be clear. There is no crisis between Guinea and its neighbors. These are simply localized incidents between communities that have lived together for centuries, sharing history, geography, and culture. So we cannot talk about a deep crisis because there were no clashes, and the state has remained in control of the situation. These were just minor incidents between neighboring populations. Interviewer, what exactly caused these tensions? Mr. Kamara, first, there was the case of Kadaya in the Sandinia subprefecture, Farana region, where Sierra Leonean soldiers entered Guinean territory without authorization. This caused tension, but it was quickly controlled. The soldiers were handed over to Guinean authorities, taken to Conakry, and later returned to Sierra Leone after discussions. The second case was at the Liberian border in Cassini, on the other side of the Makona River. There were misunderstandings where some Liberian communities claimed part of the land as theirs. In response, the state deployed security forces along the borders to protect territorial integrity and ensure free movement of people and goods.
Thank you very much, sir. One of the parliament members, sorry, I just don't know how I stole that, but they convened Liberia's representatives and the other members of ECOWAS, and this guy raised the issue. I will bring him on, please. Bear patience. He raised the issue in the presence of Senator Snow, Representative Tai Wongbe, Representative Merman Brooks Menza, Representative Samuel Endot, who are Liberia's representatives to ECOWAS. In the deliberation, he said that why it wasn't placed on the agenda because it is a regional issue and very paramount too. Why it wasn't placed on the agenda? 1. 2. Has anything changed at the border between Liberia and Guinea? 3. That Representative Yeke Koluba, he said the Parliament of Liberia expelled their member, Yeke Koluba. So his primary concern was, 1, given the regional sensitivity of the matter, it needed to be placed on the agenda. Why the leadership of ECOWAS would not put it on the agenda for discussion? 2, why is there not a change? Meaning, the situation remains. Guinea in full control. Guinea said the land is for them. They have absolute control of that identical place and surrounding area. So that parliamentarian was simply saying, let's have a full report. Not putting it on the agenda raises suspicion. And you know why they did not put it there? Because the people gave the land to Guinea. They acknowledged that the land is Guinea's property. So it wasn't placed there. ECOWAS acknowledging that the land is for Guinea. As the guy said in the interview, Guinean military spokesperson, Ansumani Tumani Kamara, as you listen to the voice-over interview on state radio in Guinea to give a further clarification. His boss told him, go and explain this thing in detail, let the people know that President Boakai and President Bio did sign the communique, having reviewed the 1907 agreement, endorsed in the communique that the land belongs to Guinea and surrounding areas. You will not hear anything from Liberian side. You will not hear anything from the Guinean side again. It's over. So Guinea did nothing wrong. Guinea did nothing wrong. Guinea was not in the wrong. Sierra Leone knew that they were in the wrong. Liberia knew they were in the wrong. And the people back home, especially those who call themselves lawmakers, and they are lawmakers, but they are not reasoning lawmakers. Because every human being has that philosophical instinct. Meaning, you have the ability is natural. Everybody was born with that, called 5 senses. When you hear something, you don't just reach conclusion. You reason out whether it is true or not. Can we go beyond the present to know the actual cause? If Guinea is acting this way, is Guinea just acting on military might, or Guinea is acting on documentation? Why? Guinea is not exerting any effort other than what they have secured. Why is Liberia not pursuing this thing beyond ECOWAS? Or why it is not insisting? Why it is not presenting document, but rather sounding political? Then you reach the conclusion that something isn't right somewhere. You're not going to hear anything from Sierra Leone again. You're not going to hear anything from Liberia again. That ECOWAS parliament couldn't have put it up. Very germane question he asked. Why? Our leaders, why are you putting it on the agenda? We've been discussing regional issues. That is the reason for this parliament. So why the tension between Liberia and Guinea, two regional countries, two sisterly or three sisterly states. Why? They are not external. They are regional. Why the issue between them is not put on the agenda, rather omitted. A situation that led to the expulsion of one of their members. And the reason why the guy mentioned that part of Yeke, he didn't call Yeke name, I'm calling him because he's our lawmaker. But he said that led to the expulsion of their lawmaker. So my understanding was the reason he mentioned Yeke, though not by name, but he said lawmaker expelled. The man made a statement that led his people to expel him from parliament. So can we know whether the man's statement truly, that real statement or that false statement that led him into that? You tell us, our fellow parliamentarians, you tell us, the land belong to Guinea? Because when you bring it on the table, we look at it from every angle. Then we know whether it belongs to Guinea or belongs to Liberia or belongs to Sierra Leone. Then we know why, or this man's suspension was legitimate. If not, a coup. And lastly, the man himself is on his tour. And you heard that he came under attack. And two political parties, the Congress for Democratic Change and the Movement for Economic Empowerment, condemn the attack on Yeke Koluba. The two institutions condemn it. Let me share excerpt with you. The Congress for Democratic Change, CDC, and the Movement for Economic Empowerment, MOVE, condemn the violent attack against Honorable Yeke Koluba of District 10 in Ganta, Nima County. The Congress for Democratic Change and the Movement for Economic Empowerment strongly and unequivocally condemn the violent attack against Honorable Yeke Koluba of District 10, Moserado County, which occurred in Ganta, Nima County, while he was conducting a peaceful political tour. This attack is cowardly, disgraceful, and completely unacceptable in a democratic and civilized society. What occurred in Ganta is not an isolated incident. It represents a dangerous escalation in the growing campaign of intimidation, political intolerance, and lawlessness that has increasingly characterized the conduct of the Bouaka Koun government and elements operating around the current government, except from the two parties' condemnation. So Yeke, move on, and please look at the impact. Take note of Yeke's impact. Unity Party knows that very well. They are feeling it. Not only that, but they are regretting the decision. They soon realize that we still have time. We still have time. They realize that, oh, Come on, we thought election was yesterday. Now they're feeling the impact of this man. So he moved to Bong, and you saw the multitude. Everything that Joseph Yeman Boakai orchestrated against Yeke Koluba will haunt Unity Party, and they have started to see the sign. And every person that they have gone against, those people would prefer to be with the devil they have known than the angel they did not know, though pride himself as angel and came and now is portraying himself as a devil. They would prefer to go back to the man they consider a devil. They saw George Weah as the bad man. Now they are regretting. Had we known. So where all of them now, they are directing their energy, their time, their resources toward George Manuel Weah in the Congress for Democratic Change. And that is why Unity Party people have dropped this cliche. We are not coming back to power. We are not coming back to power. Because they're seeing the signs. They're seeing growing frustration within the people. They're seeing the expectation, the anxiety of the people that they can't wait for 2029 to ballot against Unity Party. You saw how it was in Bong, and the man is touring the other counties. He's not running campaign. They're feeling the impact of that man. They're regretting it. Nobody in Unity Party right now is forceful. What they will depend on, and what they're depending on their money and to rake. But no one is so influential to get down to the ground. Already, Amara Conan is leaving them. And I can tell you over the days, you're going to hear another name that gradually leaving them. Gradually. Thank God the United States government say the government is ineffective. No effectiveness. Everybody doing their own thing. Boakai the president, but the people ain't respect him. He's just there. The cabinet meeting president. You just call cabinet meeting. What do you call cabinet meeting? He said that the only thing you see Boakai, you ain't see Boakai doing anything extra. When a cabinet meeting, you go, he said on the cabinet meeting, he think he be president now. I can be nothing extra. That he meant cutting all the shots. He just there. So what I can advise is Yeke has to avoid their area. It's the wisest things to do. And we at Kings 88.5 or Kings 88.5 is pushing this across to Yeke. Avoid their area. Though 2029 is around, but we have little time to go. We have time in our favor to reach to that place, by which we will work out the mechanism. Nimba County is not anybody's personal property. Nimba County is not the personal property of Vice President Jeremiah Cohn, neither any senator or representatives. As a matter of fact, by the time we're getting closer, Samuel Koga going to rise up against him, and they're going to fight in that Nimba County. Take it or leave it. Today is the 7th. When that is happening, you say Sam Andrews and Kings 88.5 said it. Jeremiah Cohn is not the godfather. There is a difference between having money rather, being a vice president, and being influential. Prince Johnson had the dollars. Though he wasn't a millionaire, but he had the dollars. But he wasn't using the dollars. He wasn't giving money to people here and there. He wasn't manipulating things. He wasn't concocting anything politically. He was only using his influence. He would speak and it would happen. When he said, I'm going to this clown to speak to the people, and when he got there, what he wanted, it happened. Even when the people said they did not want to see him. He would say, I'm going there. And before he can get there, their mind changed. That Prince Johnson, the late, decided 3 presidential elections in this country. Vice President Jeremiah Kun does not have that ability. Godfather is not a small title. Godfather is not because you have few dollars and you are vice president. It's far different. There is a gulf between a godfather and a financially balanced person. Look at Prince Johnson's life over those times. Prince Johnson did not need $1 to give to anybody. He did not need to do anything. He only needed to speak the word, just as the Roman centurion say, speak the word and my servant will be healed, because there is impact. Prince Johnson had that political impact. He only needed to speak the word. Vice President Jeremiah Kun does not have that. And we're going to get into Nima County. If anybody would think that George Weah will not get significant vote for Nima County, you must be living in a dream world. No, Nima County is going to be a divided place. Everybody going to have their cut of the cake. Prince Johnson is no longer around. So the wisdom is, Yeke, avoid the area for now. Avoid the area for now. Nima County is not Liberia only. You've been to other areas, the people embrace you. There are other counties that are willing to embrace you. Simple logic, avoid them. It happened to Jesus. It happened to Jesus, and Jesus fled. Jesus left when he realized that the people in his humanity, that the people were coming against him. And he saw how furious and ferocious they were. What did he do? He fled that sin. It didn't mean that Jesus was weak or Jesus could not use a miraculous power, but he allowed simple wisdom to prevail. You need wisdom in everything in life. The wisdom here is, Yeke, avoid their areas for now. When we're getting closer, they cannot stop you or anybody from the opposition getting into those areas. So let's go home now. Let's go home by taking your cards at 0772 23 99 33, 0772 23 99 33, 0886 30 44 97. Hello.
Good afternoon, Mr. Andrews.
Good afternoon.
This is Derek King, and I join you from my resident in Masini, an executive of the Concern Latino for Justice. You see, Mr. Andrews, the words of Yeke Korba have been validated by the Guinean Army chief, the spokesman. Right, so what Yeke said, there is no difference from what the Guinean Army spokesman said. But you see, this government, we have known them over the time. Even when they were in opposition, this guy got nothing on that all resembles fact. Everything that he does, they all lie. And what they have done to this country, they will bear the consequences come to the 29th. They shouldn't take that right now because more will happen. I'm not going to get Konda and all of people who they shall lie with that lie that they see, so God will leave them.
All right, Chief. Thank you. Hello.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sam Andrew.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I'm Peter David Castle, a cover on a street light in Lower Johnsonville, a member of the Concerned Liberians for Justice. So, Mr. Sam Andrew, I think the question that have been asked by Nigerian parliamentarians. See, that's the same question that we have been asking our government, to really answer. But they have failed to answer such a question. So, since the issue started, Panama and Liberia border, the government have remained muted. You cannot tell us, and the Guineans continue to occupy our land. The president of Liberia and that of Domoya, they met. No communication was received from there. Then Yeka Kuruba came and told us the reality that the land is for Guinea. And that's the reality. The land is for Guinea. So they told their citizens that the land belongs 1.5 kilometers of land. It belongs to Guinea.
All right, Chief.
Just Imam Bouaka and Koni's government cannot and tell the truth to the Liberian people.
All right, thank you, sir. Hello. Yeah.
Yeah, they say what about calling for Johnson Day for send a prayer for Johnson. Thank you very much. Thank you. I mean, you. The poor feel and say the people yesterday were say, oh, Joe, we are dead, Joe, we are done. Today, they are shit in our community where we live. Let me tell you. You can call one say, to my reliable so say, you say, I say. They say, what the member made I say them. They bring the hot to move for them.
It's not about Yaka Koluba. I said the parliamentary speaker, the parliament member of the parliament, he raised the issue. And he only mentioned Yaka because an expulsion took place, which they follow.
Yes, the man made it, raised the issue yesterday. And today they were talking it. You will never see them come out and speak. Every day, Joseph Boga calling for Calais meeting. The people they are feel, they know what to start.
Okay.
And the report account that they feel for the rule of law. The people will always be feel. Yeah, we'll go on to the chicken factory. They ballet lina. So then the chicken factory, all they say, but they ballet lina. The other day, by the land, beyond the police in Banga, the other educational areas, in our case of Malay. So they will feel all the time. The bar reporter, the normal party are only.
No,
so
we ain't got any idea whether that man, they killed the man or the man down. We're still waiting. We're waiting to hear from them.
But they okay. They've got anything happening in the college. We are okay.
No, we know. All right, babe. Hello?
Yeah, Mr. Andrew.
Yep.
I'm patient grateful to go memory concern la brain for justice. Mr. Andrew, that the thing we can be talking. They went over there for the situation before the people. They not even do it. For the situation before the people, they for the case. They for the case. Because the thing that you can say, they posted to the place, Mr. Andrew. They posted to the place. And you know that you never part of behavior. You are here, Mr. Andrew. Don't they campaign? They see you never part of.
But it's not so much about that thing. That thing we were talking about it over and over. I only mentioned Yeke because the guy mentioned Yeke too. That's all. That's why I said when I came to the other side that the people say why they put it on the agenda because it's important. It's not so much about Yeke.
That one I told Mr. Andrew, they sort of put it before the people. They put law into the case. They sort of put it before the people. And again, they put it on another record again, Mr. Andrew. What we heading to? They put it out building and said yesterday, say the king number 10. Today again, like another news on the police. And the record, yes, the MCC reported the order. They put in the rule of law.
The king what? What number again?
That's the king
10
10.
10 best police in Africa.
Mr. Andrew, you know the woman that BB figure, You know that? The woman that BB figure, and they say, I'm princess, on the not burial. When it goes on, they say, come and get infected. The woman that BB figure. So they say, I know they kill somebody again. What kind of prayer is it, Mr. Andrew? They say, they better come on, make Paka fire set to the head. All of you guys know. You are here, I see people have been charged up, made charged up to go over there today. I see the happening to what I say, not laughing. He says, they made a hero. Why can't call the men to go? You are here. When somebody died, Mr. Andrew, they say that Joe, we are a Pajasuru police. Joe, we are police. Today again, the Paka police, a better combo. Anyway, the police goes, a problem. You can hear immigration today, you can hear Syria today. Mr. Andrew, what happened to our country? What happened to the men out? That proper chaos? They just gave you a hard time, like, bro. I know that Joseph looking in the power, Mr. Andrew, I can read power. They were out in the power, you were Joseph.
But loader, you see, they
No,
order.
Mr. Andrew, they said we get read. They said we get read, so we get read power. Who they say we get read? Who know?
They order Joseph than a Bible name. That different name. That country.
That local Joseph.
Yeah. That Joseph in the Bible, the one parable he didn't know.
Never pray somebody in the power. You just said Joseph in the power. Pray somebody home. Yeah, Joseph get too bad. I mean, Mr. Andrew, see what? Then Joseph get too much.
I see you. Let's up here.
Next time, Joseph will ask me what I know about out.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Hello.
Hello, this is Anthropologist Mikey. I'm calling from district number 17, People Community. Thank you for having me this afternoon. Mr. Andrew? Hello?
You are on the air, Chief. I don't have to be saying yeah. Speak.
Yeah, okay. You know the reason why that man can be making that parable there? And we say if you refer to parable to you, we say if you find or you see a door in the dish that has a bone in the mouth, then that bone move on the door and fall down in the mouth, in the water, then that bone that said that in the water that not valuable bone. So he was referring to Nigerians as dog. So the dog that put him and the bone in the mouth, he was talking about CDC. So now they said that in the water now he's the one who won her. So he had no use for that bone there. So that parable referred to himself.
All right, Chief. Thank you. Hello.
Yeah, Brother Sam Andrew.
Yep.
I'm Kabavani, calling from the Things Day Bell. You see, that is why we can ask the people questions. So then you expel Yeke Koluba for what he said about Guinea Bolo. So what you yourself saying that about the Guinea Bolo, the Labrador and Guinea Bolo, what are you saying? It is true that it left for all oil for Guinea, on the message for Guinea. So today, where are our people? Where are our people? Where are our people? Our ever left the era. So what are you trying to say now? Now, Nigeria, their senators are picking the issue out. Then what are the people saying now? So it's better that they bring Yeke Koluba back to the spectrum.
All right, Chief. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, G's partner.
Hey, G's partner, what's up with you?
How you doing?
Cool as us, twice as wise and wise as mice.
Thank you for the show, Papa. You set it up. So I want to ask now, the people that went to the parliament, the Equa parliament, Mipa, Massa, what went there? What was people go in the hall, people go in the hall? What you told they go in that hall? What you told them? The Mipa woman. I know Mipa, Messiah, call. And in the parliament, they were on the table. The thing that hurting us, that we can't sleep in the night. When we sleep in, one hour open, one hour close. Get here, what driver is this? We take it where they go, one us in the night. You go to the parliament, Equa parliament, you pull that thing out, that hurting like people on the floor. When you go there, you go see, do this series, say something about foreign. Who they about coming there now? They put one lane, they bring all that bazooka, they put one lane. You see that one? Then they call you to put on the table. There's somebody telling you in your face that your laboratory is there. Follow the squad, you put it behind you. What is the update now, St. Andrew? No, any other side will say, oh, what's going on? Back or falling to that border. The border, you know, not go there. Trust me, the border, all of you, the border, no update. The border will give you update from there. They start chasing the post on. Also, there were full report there on the show. What is the update now? You don't go about going, so somebody there, you already out of the parliament. What he said yesterday, your own hello, the other one said the same thing. So they said all of Boka administration. She said in Boka office. When the man said they said my soul say you said Allah. But they put telling us that the man found out to everything that they want them for here a friend and I know Mutuburakia, how they call him for free time the president. Without them we can so like what together. We can put that like what together. What they put saying about us? What they say? No update, nothing, we are in darkness. Perpetual darkness who is for Boka administration. People will walk in there, they won't get food to eat, they'll start getting on one in the house. Because of their blood issues, because of one man, self-interest, expect teacher to get money. All the making all right. Well, what did I go in the pour water? And then what tell all the two and Boga go and sign and kind sit down and tell you all this and that to dream the parliament and they want it. So let's tell all the two making that. Let's tell all the two say Andrew to thank you for the show.
All right, G-Spot, have a nice day. Hello.
Hello, Sam Andrew.
Yep.
This is Maya Binogle calling from St. Sam Andrew, in his first place, the police director that was hired, you know that he can add he the president for the whole country. Can you see one that of habit? You can remember when he said anything anybody do, they must shoot them. And that's what the police doing. So when the police do anything, all of the way, he get them. He happy for it. Look at people saying that laying down there. Look up in Syria. The boy that they took from jail, they beat. Nothing comes from other age. Why they go make it even say something that good to the people that they can be killing in a place here. They can't say anything good for what is. One time we would live in what kind of country we live in? Yeah, what country we live in like slaves? We live in like slaves here, what country for West? Yeah, now. The other time we were talking about they look at Benin. That was not Benin now. Yet Koroba can't say anything is for and then a story. Yet Koroba knew that whole thing there and he put it outside. But you know, God can't sleep there, he can't answer them. He can't answer. Everybody seeing the representative there that in our that a better Benin is fighting for. Do you know that he was being put in there? You stand. Why you all know everything? You stand for your friend to move from there. Why you know so they see what the men say that too? And yeah, they can't order. Shame on them. Bye.
All right, madam. Have a nice day. Hello.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Mr. Andrew. Mr. Andrew, I'm Spencer Mohammed, and I come from Town Postpone Hill, Town community, and a member of the Concerned Liberian for Justice. Mr. Andrew, thank you very much. Mr. Andrew, as I look at the police today, then I begin to reflect, then I begin to appreciate President Weah for relieving Gregory Como under him as the police director at the time. In my mind, Gregory wanted to have exercised the kind of brutal policing under President Weah, and because of President Weah's fast attendance, that's why they released him, carrying to Bureau of Concession, where he had to eventually resign. Look, this is what he's exhibiting today. Honor Gregory Como. The police have turned to killing machine. The police have turned to be anti a complete auxiliary to Unity Party. Once you disagree with them, they eliminate you. And killing has just been a hallmark of the police. It's just the police that were parading with information a few days ago that they killed 70 in the war and 10 places in Africa. Is this the report the police were posting off? Look at how they killed the boy today in cold blood. Is this the responsible government they promised us? Mr. Andrew,
the police say Spencer, the police say there was no devil. The police say, listen now, the police say there was no death.
For what we are seeing here, we are seeing calamity by the day. Thank you very much, Mr. Andrew, for always giving us the opportunity to make our presence on national issue. Thank you very much.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah.
Good afternoon, Sam Andrew.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I'm Christy Baker calling from Stephen Tower Estate. Sam Andrew, I'm highly disappointed. Our children are dying every day. Our children are brutalized by these people every day. It's so sad. It's so sad. I live Stephen Tower Estate, and what happened here today, it wasn't an easy tension. It was not easy. The board that was shot today, I don't know what the churches or council, I don't know, or council or churches are saying. This is the time for them to speak.
Did you see? Did you see a person being shot out by the police? Did you see anything like that? Were you told?
The boy was shot. The boy was shot. He was shot.
But the police said nothing of such happened.
It's not true, St. Andrews. It's not true. The boy was shot by the police. He was shot by the police.
Were you on the scene? Were you on the scene, or you were told?
I was there. I went in the market. We see it over every people. We go in the market to chicken to market. That where we go and buy our food. I was even calling Asia. I was even calling AB, but I couldn't get them. I was there. And that boy and that man shut that door to me. It's so sad. It's so disappointing. It's so sad. It's so disappointing. It's how good at all.
The police said that not true. There was nobody shot at and killed.
That's truth. It was truth. But I think you played the recording, right?
Yeah, Clifford, yeah, man.
Thank you. You played the recording of Clifford. Well, even if that boy is there up to now, we don't even know because the boy was shot off his head.
Yeah, that's what Clifford said. Clifford said, though he was not on the scene, but he was told by people that the boy was shot in the head.
On his head. On his head. On his head. It's so sad. It's so bad. I feel so ugly in my spirit when it happened to me. I feel so ugly. Our children are dying on a daily basis of these evil people. Our children are getting died on a daily basis of these evil people. It's so sad. Bye-bye.
Hello?
Hello, Senator.
Yep.
This is Wilson Batu calling from Super Big Quaho. Then I do tell what we are seeing and tell AB. The ones of man making his man. I agree to that because why? The one you say, you are telling us it's singing will extend, and today the singing extend. All the time you are doing in Liberia, it will never go in vain. The president coming will make the president, but president will not make it. Take us 2 months for your calling. Your way you're doing it. We're not going to be. Let God bless you. In Jesus' mighty name.
Amen. Thank you, Sabato. Hello.
Yes, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
This is Edward Carr, and I'm a member of the Concerned Librarian for Justice. I don't know what the police is defending. If it was in the bush where there was nobody around, then at least you can try to cover up, but we will see. It will come up because not only on King 7, I have followed 4 different media all like this afternoon, and it carrying the same story, So some have saying he died, and some have saying he in the hospital and trying to recover. And you see nobody was shot at. It's quite frustrating because the information is that he shot directly at the crowd. 3 shots, okay, and one of the guys got caught by one of the bullets. He didn't do it in the air, so he's so going to defend it that nothing that happened. We are watching. And we are in a city, not far from all we'll see. That what happened in Georgia where 1 person died, no 2 person died, 3 person died. No, the truth, come on. This is the body that they were fighting to put their image up. Every day there's a strange thing that happening in the police here. All county, somebody in the cell, or they never releasing to his family nor to his lawyer. They barely his phone trapped on the street, few yards away from the police station. They said there was no foul play, but there was no due process followed. So I don't know what is really happening. If this is the calamity that now hit our country, that is a serious issue. Okay? We really need to be careful. Easy. That story is trending. This morning, after the afternoon turn, then they come to say, oh, nothing that happened. We are watching to see the truth will come up. Then when you come to this court guy, 3 terms in rule of law. If they could have passed this Waka government in rule of law, I could have been one of the persons sitting at the embassy on hunger strike. Because they don't want getting it. They don't want getting it. And any country that does not respect the rule of law, these are the things you will see happening. There's going to be Nobody coming to the country to say they will come with that investment. How can they come? Job creation, zero. He has said, he has repeatedly said in their cabinet meeting that they are not able to create, asking his minister, how can the minister create when you are not creating the avenue? Huh? How they will be able to do it to create jobs? Okay? Effectiveness. The government is not effective. They get ranking. They get causing noise. Oh, the place doing well. Oh, the place doing so. The place doing. Every government was effective. Can the government run around for 1 year, 2 years, 5 months, or able to even attract 50,000 US dollars to the country? We are not talking about IMF. IMF looking for country to credit. They pay with high interest. Also, our president, we are waiting for able to bring something to the country and the variable are there. But the president run around 2 years, 5 months. He are able to attract anything to the country. That just shows that the government is very, very ineffective, and we'll just be here and waiting for the wonderful 2029 to come. So, thank you.
All right, Mr. Carr, have a nice day. And thank you all for spicing up the show. I appreciate all of you great people. Without you, we aren't. With you, we are together. We complement each other. Let's get to the police statement, the issue, disputing what you people are saying. They said nothing of such happened. So in essence, they are saying it's just a public sentiment. They say not a single person was shot at. The police did not do anything of such. Here is the statement. The Liberia National Police wishes to clarify reports circulating on social media regarding the security disturbance that occurred today in the chicken soup factory community, Gardnersville. Contrary to claims being disseminated online, the LNP confirms that no person was shot and killed during the incident. Preliminary findings established that police officers responded after receiving information that a group of residents had allegedly surrounded and attempted to set ablaze a residence into which a suspected armed robber suspect had reportedly fled for safety. Police intervention was therefore initiated to prevent a potentially fatal act of mob violence, restore order, and secure all persons involved for lawful investigation and due process. During the intervention, one person sustained a gunshot injury. 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 Please underline that line. During the intervention, one person sustained a gunshot injury under circumstances that remain subject to active investigation. The injured person was immediately transported for medical attention and is currently undergoing treatment at John F. Kennedy Medical Center. The Liberia National Police emphasizes that every incident involving the discharge of a firearm by law enforcement is treated with seriousness and professionalism. Accordingly, the circumstances surrounding the injury are being reviewed in line with established operational procedures and accountability mechanisms of the LNP. The LNP reminds the public that acts of vandalism, mob violence, and attempts to unlawfully harm suspects undermine the rule of law, and place innocent lives at risk. All persons accused or suspected of criminal conduct remain entitled to due process under the laws of the Republic of Liberia, The statement concluded, the Liberia National Police remains committed to maintaining public safety, protecting lives and property, and enforcing the law with professionalism, restraint, and respect for the rights and dignity of all persons. Now, here is it. The police lie. There is suspicion of their own statement. This statement was published, they say, issued by Press and Public Affairs Division, Liberia National Police. Yes, the contradiction, please. The very statement is suspicious, though the public, there you go. You're listening carefully. Daniel Trabotente, thank you for coming on, my dear brother. I hope that you are faring well from where you are. Listen to the first statement. The Liberia National Police wishes to clarify, report, no, that's the second paragraph. Contrary to claims being disseminated online, the LNP confirms that no person was shot and killed during the incident. No person was shot and killed. But the police did confirm in the statement that bullet was fired. Bullet was fired. And it wasn't the rule of engagement atmosphere to return fire, because fire or the police was not being shot out. The police confirmed, which is unprofessionalism. The police confirmed a shootout from the police when they said that a person was injured. Listen again, listen. During the intervention, one individual sustained a gunshot. One person sustained a gunshot. That is a confirmation that a police officer, whom the people are referring to, intentionally, willfully, premeditatedly, unregrettably released a bullet. The intent was to kill. You cannot shoot into a crowd that is unarmed. Yes, the security people, please tell us if King's F88.5 is wrong. You cannot shoot into a crowd that is unarmed. You cannot shoot into a crowd that is not shooting at you. The only time you return or you release a bullet when the police is under attack. And even as that, it has to be determined. That determination is severe attack. That's when you release. Anything short of that, you can never, ever release a single bullet into a crowd and say that you are bringing the situation under control. How? It's unprofessional. Thank God the international community did watch it and they have taken note of it. The police confirmed gunshot, and they said that a person got injured. And they stopped short of talking about the severity of that injury, but did confirm that the person is receiving treatment at JFK. So the family of that person, you need to go to JFK. You people have the right to see your relatives, except that you want to trade your relative health for another thing. But if you people are concerned about the life of your relative, you people will have to move to JFK to see him. Nobody can give the public a clearer understanding of his condition other than you people. Not the police. You cannot depend on the police. The police is already guilty. Their statement has indicted them. So they will not give the actual situation. They will try to polish it, try to color it. This statement released by the police indict itself. During the intervention, one person sustained a gunshot. Where did the gunshot come from? Did it come from within the crowd amongst themselves? Or it came from the police? Were police officers on the ground? Yes. The authority said they move in to quell the situation, to bring the situation under control, to prevent more violence and other things. In the act, were the police officers, or how? What was the severity of that situation? How aggressive the crowd was? What was the strength of the crowd? Was it a multitude? Because one of the ways you can release a shot and not at the crowd in the air, when you have multitude coming to you, which we see in movies and gives us a real understanding, meaning if the crowd gets closer, they will overwhelm the police. So as we see in movies, when they're coming, they will release 1 or 2 bullets in the air and not at the people, so that it reduces the number, because when people hear bullet sound, they get afraid and they start to turn elsewhere so that they will not get killed. What was the magnitude of the crowd? What was the strength? You're talking about few people, unarmed, unresisting. Yet the police turned to the crowd. The police did not say a bullet was fired in the air. They said during the intervention, one person sustained a gunshot injury under circumstances that remain subject to active investigation. It's an indictment. The police confirming that this officer intentionally, willfully, unregrettably, consciously pointed his gun at the crowd. Listen to the statement again. During the investigation, one individual sustained a gunshot injury. Now watch it. Under circumstances that remain subject to active investigation. They try to portray it like it's complicated, it's mystery. They really don't know. So to have an understanding, they have to do a thorough investigation. Oh, how I like the white people. Sorry if I'm sounding racist, but they're good at investigation. We learn so much from rules of engagement. Eyewitnesses' account is a great determination. Where the bullet came from, where the police were, they'll look at the point from where the bullet came from, where it went, where the crowd was. They'll do on-the-spot investigation. It happened broad day. Then it said, the injured person was immediately transported for medical attention and is currently undergoing treatment at John F. Kennedy Medical Center. Family people, it's up to you. That's your relative. If that person, mother, father, stay alive, except Mr. Father, Madam Mother, you don't want your son or daughter alive. That's the only way you will not be curious to know his or her condition. By refusing to go to the hospital. The police have the right to give you assets, Mr. Father, Madam Mother, to see your son or daughter. There is no way they can prevent you. Preventing you as father, preventing you as mother of seeing your injured person is a confirmation of what the public said that the person was killed. And there is the urgency of the moment. There is the urgency of the moment. Family members, there is the urgency of the moment. You need not wait. You have to move there very quick. The police confirm. In their statement, they said the injured person is at JFK receiving treatment. The injured person was immediately transported for medical attention and is currently undergoing treatment at John F. Kennedy Medical Center. So there is no ambiguity here that you wouldn't know where. They mention the confirmed injury. So you have to, they confirm injury and they confirm the hospital. Now you have to move to know the severity of the injury. If it is minor and the police takes full responsibility of that, and you agree, fine. If it is severe, you also need to know. The family should not take this for granted. It is life or death. Except that you people don't want your family member to live or to remain injured. That's the only way you will not go there. The last thing you ever want to do as family is to be negligible. That means you ought not to go there. But the police is under obligation, the hospital is under obligation to give you access to that person. To see. If it is just a squash, you need to know. If it is major, you need to know. The family needs to know. And don't sit there and say the police say this, the police say that. If you, family members, just wait for the police say, forget it. And you're done. But it was intentional. That police officer did shoot into the crowd, as evident by the police statement. We know it's also possible when the shot goes in the air or the gun carrier releases in the air, we also know that it can cause injury because people are afraid of gun, bullet. No one wants to die. No one wants to get injured. So people will start moving here and there for safety uncontrollably. Whichever way their hand, their feet, their foot, their eye, their ear can take them. Whatever that is before them, they're not thinking. Carefulness is not in their mind, but rather escape what they will find as a coming bullet. So yes, it's also possible that when the shot goes in the air, it can cause injury also. That's the other side of it. We can leave that out. It's also possible. But we do not know whether the police officer did shoot at the crowd. But we can suspect, given what we have heard from eyewitnesses, blending that with the police statement, that the police did shoot, because Clifford said he was told. He was told by those people on the scene that the police shot the guard in the head.
I'm Clifford Yimpan, the vice chairman for Operation Chief Committee, commonly called the mayor. We were busy with the QJO company as related to our role. We're down the Gulf South Platinum Steel Road, making sure it be developed. Or receive the communication as related to what happened to the junction. Immediately we rushed there, and the police officer that did the shooting, his colleagues took him away with the victim. They took the victim to Barbara Ann, where he taking a treatment. Thinking that was a low tension. When I reached, I saw crowd, I saw tension. You know, where our people stop hearing gun sound for a decade. So when you see somebody shooting somebody, there's a serious tension. So when I reached on the road, I saw everybody had to scatter, people running, people moving here and there, people chunking rock. So I immediately reached there to try to put the issue on a standstill. I couldn't make it because the tension was too much. So the information I got is that a motorcycle criminal was apprehended by the police. Before the police tried to apprehend the motorcycle criminal, motorcycle from other community, motorcycle they're not specific. Motorcycle from other community tried to handle the guy themselves. That's where the tension broke up from between they and the police. Before then, the police got called. According to information that they said one black police guy on the OPF4 or PSU4, he did a shooting to the citizen of one of the citizens of Chibudu Factory, shooting in the head. I was here on the scene, but when I reached out, I said that the information I got up, yes, that's where the tension broke up from. The guys are at the hospital taking treatment right now. If you look, the Chibudu Factory, we are people of hospitality, we are peaceful people. We are getting the police got called. According to information that they said one black police guy on the OPF4 or PSU4, he did a shooting to the citizen of one of the citizens of Chibudu Factory, shooting in the head. He did a shooting to the citizen of one of the citizens of Chibudu Factory, shooting in the head. PSU4. He did a shooting to the citizen of one of the citizens of Chibudu Factory, shooting in the head. PSU4. He did a shooting to the citizen of one of the citizens of Chibudu Factory, shooting in the head. PSU4. He did a shooting to the citizen of one of the citizens of Chibudu Factory, shooting in the head. PSU4. He did a shooting to the citizen of one of the citizens of Chibudu Factory, shooting in the head. PSU4. He did a shooting to the citizen of one of the citizens of Chibudu Factory, shooting in the head. PSU4. He did a shooting to the citizen of one of the citizens of Chibudu Factory, shooting in the head. I was here on the scene, but when I reached out, I said that the information I got up, yes, that's where the tension broke up from. The guys are at the hospital taking treatment right now. If you look, the Chibudu Factory, we are people of hospitality, we are peaceful people. We are against violence. In our motorcycle on a daily basis, we conscientize them to be peaceful, to focus on what they are doing to get their living. We are out of violence. We are totally against violence. We're talking to them. Let it remain calm. We'll get a situation. We'll go into the investigation. We'll see the result of the investigation. Yes, the victim is taking treatment. The victim is at GFK. He is taking treatment right now. I'm Clifford Jenyipa, the vice chairman for Operation Chibudu Community.
George Weah returns to the presidency 2029. And that's how we go home for today. George Weah returns to the presidency 2029. George Weah didn't feel no setback was created. There is no setback. We are not, as the people or the cliche some people came up with, turning setback into comeback. Again, know this: setback, one, can be explained in different ways. One, delay. Two, failure. Three, incompletion. Four, no progress. Five, wasted years. Hence, you will want extra time to improve or to do what you did not. We do not go with setback. George Weah's life has never been associated with setback. The presidency of George Weah had no setback, and has no setback. So, we are not turning setback into comeback. Acknowledging setback is an admittance of failure. If you are a citizen supporter of George Weah, official of the Congress for Democratic Change, and you've ever used that phrase or cliche, stop using it. Take away the setback. What you ought to say, and that is our position at King's 88.5, given the in total knowledge we have, and everyone in this country and out of this country has, the improvement, the significant breakthrough, the prosperity, the development agenda, unprecedented layout by George Weah, building on those gains for the future. You cannot return when you've done nothing. Returning means the people are convinced that you did, hence they are convinced you can do more. You must have done as a trump card for a return. So in that equation, setback is immaterial. Setback cannot be used. George Weah did not fail. No, he didn't. George Weah came to the presidency, initiated developments, unprecedented developments, introduced development politics in this country, took Liberia to another level. All of us know. The opposition knows. When I say opposition, it means those who are opposing Weah's return. Anyone who opposes you is an opposition. The government is an opposition as they see us an opposition. We are opposing their re-election. They are opposing Weah's return. So all of us are in this realm of opposition. They are refuting our argument. We are countering their argument. They are saying President Weah did nothing. But consciously, they know that President Weah did the unprecedented because the unprecedented right in this country. They're saying it. They know. They're benefiting from those things. Their children benefiting from it. Their relatives benefiting from it. Those things were constructed not on the basis of partisanship, but rather the people of Liberia. That is why every Liberian, including foreigners, are benefiting from those things. They go there, they see it, they talk about it. No setback. So we are not turning setback into comeback. Put it on the table. Put on your philosophical cap. Reason out. What going to, and they are adding spice to Weah's return. What we have today, if you talk about setback, you have setback today. The United Party government has created and is still creating setbacks. And the setbacks are what? Working in favor of George Weah and the Congress for Democratic Change. Simple. All of these setbacks that have been created by Unity Party, the anger lives within the people, the hurt growing by the day, and the anxiety for 2029 is high to vent out such anger against Joseph Yeman Boakai and his host of angels. You can see that setback that have suffered the people, as evident by what you hear, how they are expressing themselves openly everywhere, irrespective of where they find themselves. Just do a simple survey, disguise yourself, just get in the midst of people. You hear a lot negative about this government, then you think you hear of the CDC government. If ever you hear a mention of the CDC government, it will be, what is the difference? The same thing you say about the CDC government, you're even doing it worse. And that statement, you're even doing it worse, means a decision has been taken to flush you people out. So that is why you need that. You CDCians and other people don't say turning setback into comeback. There wasn't a setback. Weah did deliver. His footprint, handprints, nail prints all over the place. In Ellen's government, there was this word that became the core word politically: tangible. Say, what are the tangibles? And tangible, it simply means what one can see, not to be too literal of it, but practical. What you can see, what you can talk about, what another person can confirm as you see it. That's what it is. The foreigners can see, talk about, as well as the people of this country, we as tangibles. The man himself, on many occasions, and still today, can brag and boast of his tangibles. Why? Because they are available for everyone to see, know, talk about, and reference. So the setback is not associated with Weah, because Weah did not create setback. You CDCians, you take that off your mind. You erase that word from that phrase, setback. The person that brought up that expression, I can understand. Maybe it was just sentiment. But you don't bring sentiment and logical reasoning together. Sentiment should have no place in logical reasoning. There wasn't any setback. That is why we say George Weah returns to the presidency. The setbacks Unity Party creating, those are what the opposition, Congress of Democratic Change, and other opposition parties are capitalizing on. And Unity Party knows that very well. They know. President Weah knows that all is not well. His officials know that all is not well. And they know that we have now, if not a fully enlightened society, we are developing an enlightened society. The people are more concerned now about the issues to talk about, to see, to challenge, and a lot more. The people's eyes are open. And they know they're creating the setbacks. It's not George Weah. Weah didn't create setback. So the expression cannot hold. Take away that setback. Talk about the gains, the unprecedented gains, because when you, in a couple of months, year or two from now, you crisscrossing, you're not going to be telling the people we turning setback into comeback. Let me give you an example. Representative Yaka Koluba, even though they say they expelled him, but we wait for the final word from the Supreme Court. So we still call him representative. Representative Yaka Koluba in his tour, listen to him carefully. He's not talking about setback. He's talking about Unity Party leaving, they're creating the setbacks. He's not telling them, George, we are creating setbacks. He's not telling the people that CDC created setbacks, CDC had setback, CDC had it. No, he's telling the people the setbacks created and still being created by Joseph Yeman Boakai and why the people should fix their mind to get him out. So you cannot be saying turning setback into comeback. It's telling your enemy that you are weak, that you feel that they should continue to say you're not coming back because you adding spies to their empty statement. We build on the gains of George Weah, and that's how it works. You build on the gains of the person. So the campaign, they added spies. They added spies to the campaign. This is what George Weah has done. Everybody knows that. Even the unborn child knows. So this is what George Weah is going to add. Simple. This is what he's going to add. This is the plan for the future. This is this is that, this is this. And the people are not going to be asking you what did George Weah do. They're going to be saying, oh, he did this. He came into our county. He built this in our county. He did this. He did that. He did. They will be talking about the did. So the mind game of the Unity Party, because they know that George Weah initiated development and unprecedented development in Liberia, so they come up with the scheming and say, Weah did nothing. He messed the country up. But they cannot tell you how he messed the country up. They just use expression, he messed the country up. But they are not specific because they cannot prove it. Don't use that expression. Or take that turning setback from there. There is every possibility of a comeback. And the ingredient or the bridge to the comeback is what George Weah has done. During the campaign, if people will ask questions, that's the only question they will ask. Oh, y'all come here to talk to us about George Weah. So you tell us, what did George Weah do? Even if they know, they will want you to say it. And they will be right. So the way you come in and say, we did this, we did that, we did this, they will be convinced. The next question they will ask you, with all that George Weah did, we see it. So, if we elect him, what he going to do again? That word, AGARN, will come because you've already told them the conveyance. So that AGARN means extension. So we building on the gains, advancement, prosperity of George Manning Weah. We're not turning setback into comeback because there was no setback. Weah didn't fail. He didn't. A setback is a failure, meaning wasted years. You made no significant strides in those years. You've got nothing to show. No legacy. No infrastructure legacy. Nothing. That's what a setback is. George Weah's idea developmentally surpassed every other leader or leaders before him. Why wouldn't this man return to the presidency? From Joseph Jenkins Roberts to Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, challenge me by just putting yourself to work. Put all the achievements of those presidents before George Weah on the table and do your comparison. George Weah will be the standout in your analysis. Had those people, those presidents before George Weah, if they were developmental, Liberia at 176 going to 177 and 200 years will have taken on a development nature representative of a country that George Weah, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, George Weah will just be capitalizing on doing little things because the country before them will have been developed. But not a single of all those leaders were thinking futuristic. They weren't thinking into the future. They weren't thinking that Liberia needs this, Liberia needs that, Liberia is this, Liberia can be this all of the time. They weren't thinking that way. They were complacent. A leader who is not futuristic is not a leader. Put all of their developments on the table. Compare them. Your comparison will bring out the name George Weah as the standout name. History has it. History has it. Both archaic history, modern history. They are all available. From Joseph Jenkins Roberts all the way to modernism, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Go into that bracket. Take off George Weah. Just look within that bracket. Take off Ellen Johnson Sirleaf too. Let's take it that way. Take off Ellen Johnson. Take off Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Take off George Weah. Even though Ellen came to earth before George Weah, but she's within the modern era, modern politics. So beyond Ellen, all the way to Joseph Jenkins Roberts, look at Liberia in that bracket. Bring out development. Bring out practical development. You wouldn't find any. You wouldn't. For 100 years plus, Liberia had been just roving. Countries around us. Liberia older than Sierra Leone, go and see Sierra Leone. Liberia older than Guinea, go to see Guinea. Liberia older than Ghana, go and see Ghana. Liberia older than most of these countries, Nigeria or Algeria, Most of those African countries, if not all, Liberia older than all of those countries. Liberia started existing before those countries. But look at them. They are far better than Liberia. Why? Because the leaders that came, they were futuristic. They were exposed. They brought innovation. They brought exposure. And they changed the identity of their country. If that wasn't true, you will not hear Liberians going to other countries, coming back and praising, the poor country found, the poor country found. Yeah. When you see the people city well laid out, you hear Liberians praising other countries as if God came down from heaven as engineer and built those countries and went back to heaven. Had the leaders or presidents before George Weah put on futuristic cap, this country wouldn't be. All those years, they were not thinking about infrastructure development. No. They were not thinking of anything modernism. Certainly not. Who introduced that in our system, in our structure? George Weah. For 100 years plus, this country never knew anything called recreation center. But you had those leaders here. I'm telling you, I'm dismissing, and don't believe those people that say, those Unity Party people, oh, George Weah did nothing, George Weah did nothing. For 100 years plus, the roads in the city and everywhere dilapidated. For 100 years plus, the University of Liberia College, before becoming University of Liberia, students will walk from one end to another. They walk miles. And only the big boys then will get in their car. They saw students, but they were not thinking of transportation for students here and there. So much so that it left that way until the University of Liberia. Even in modern time, they were cooking in the library. Former President George Weah will relieve them. Not as president, not in the presidency, out of the presidency, before coming to the presidency, handed a boss to them. A futuristic leader. Looking at the condition, say, it is not normal for students to be walking by line here and there. What time will you have to get home? Rest yourself, turn to your study. How much time will you have to sleep? It's going to have a serious bearing on you psychologically. But when you have transportation, the stress going to be minimized. And he handed them a bus. When he said that on Sunday, did anyone come out to disprove it? Did anyone? Because all of the presidents, even the presidents of the University of Liberia, every one of them that served as president of the University of Liberia, some of them came to earth before George Weah, serving in such capacity, highly educated, and doctorate degrees. They were not thinking in that direction. The University of Liberia remains in a dilapidated condition. Who took it to modernism? Who introduced digital learning at the university? George Weah. Who introduced All of those things representative of university. George Weah. Why? Because of his exposure. Today, they know. And on we can go. If they're telling you that George Weah did nothing, they want you to believe what they hold so that they will stay on and use you as surrogates, even though they know that the information of the propaganda is not true, because propaganda too, it means information sent out and you know that. So fast forward to modernism. The other leaders out. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. 12 years. 12 years. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf sat in the presidency, had no time for the University of Liberia. Did the government buy a bus for the University of Liberia? No. Was the University of Liberia normal within those 12 years? No. Who came and changed the identity of the university? The state-run, that people proud. They say, oh, looks in tenebrae, light in the darkness. It wasn't light in the darkness. It was darkness in darkness. What good was the education then? What kind of education were they imputing into the people? It all starts from the leader. What good is your education imputing when it cannot impact? So you got the education, and you know that the University of Liberia has students, and the students need to move from one end to another. You know that we are entering the digital age. We are entering the technotronic age, the age of technology, and you need to do X, Y, Z. No one was thinking in that direction. No one had time. For 12 years, the University of Liberia was on a manual atmosphere. I won't say system. Manual. You know that? 12 years. They ran with chairs from one end to another. 12 years, they sat on a leaking roof. 12 years, they did not have a single bus to transport them here and there. And on we can go. That man, George Weah, came, said, let's change. Let's change. Life is not about revolving. Life is about expansion. And with